Okay, sure. Good afternoon, all the learners who are present in this live session. So this is going to be our second live session on the course Foundation for Virtual and Augmented Reality Systems. Like before, in this live session also, what we are going to do is basically to take up issues that you may have encountered while going through the course material. Please note again that here I am not going to deliver any lecture. So please don't wait for me to start a lecture. Instead, I will be waiting for you to come up and raise queries if you have any, or discuss your doubts. My request is that you keep your questions to the content or related to the course as much as possible.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Uh, uh, it's nice to meet. Sorry, I was a couple of minutes late in joining. I was actually just setting
Oh,
up
it's
the
all right.
camera.
Please go ahead.
So basically, I had two doubts, sir. So first doubt I have is basically, uh, I uh, I am a game developer. I went through your courses earlier as well. I went through your graphics course last semester, and I was in I received a gold medal, and I did quite well in that particular course, and I enjoyed the course a lot. That's why I went through this VR and AR course. So um, so basically, I just wanted to get a roadmap from you. I just want to develop VR application specifically for Quest using the Vulkan API. But I cannot find a clear roadmap. I can see a lot of YouTube videos where like it shows this particular thing, but like I don't have a clear picture like how to approach because I understood OpenGL from your last course, and I went to the OpenGL, understood OpenGL and OpenGL ES and everything. But Vulkan, I don't have it is a little bit out of course, but like I would like your like assistance in this regard, if you can.
So there are of course that is a very interesting topic you have raised. Now the thing is that you want to develop a game. That means you already have an idea of what the game is and how the game should be played by user. So basically, the user side you have already in mind, right?
Yes, sir.
Now you want to implement it. So I am not sure whether that lecture, that VR software part is, I mean, it's uploaded or not. I forgot the lecture number. So essentially, what happens is that when you want to, is it a VR game or AR game?
So it's a VR, sir, for Oculus Quest.
Quest. Okay, fine. Now this Vulkan or OpenGL, these are essentially a layer in the software stack, if I use the term. I mean, it's not necessary to directly work with this layer from a application development layer. Instead, when we are dealing with this immersive technologies, so we have this middleware that is the game engines.
Yes, sir.
Now,
I used Unity earlier for this thing, but what I found is like the Unity I used Unity, I used Godot. I didn't use Unreal so far, but I used Godot, which is open source game engine, and I use Unity for this thing. And what I found is sometimes there are features that are, like Vulkan offers a lot of new features that is not available sometimes to these middlewares. So if I just wanted to explore like the whole thing, so I can extend Godot engine and offer some higher performance compared to these commercial game engines. The system.
Right. So have you been through this lecture? Let me just check. Lecture number 19, 20, 19?
So so far I went through like eight weeks, yes, sir. So eighth week is basically system implementation. So that's the last lecture I covered so far. Ninth week will start tomorrow.
No, this is, I think, in week. This is week 4.
Okay,
Fourth week.
XR
So if
hardware.
you get time to actually go through it, so these exactly what you are referring to is mentioned there in the lecture. So essentially, there are two things. And this is a very interesting point. So there are two things. One is if you are an expert developer and want performance over convenience, then certainly you are right to work with this direct OpenGL or Vulkan libraries. But if you are not very confident about that, then of course you will lose some sort of efficiency, as you are saying that some features are missing and some speed enhancement is there. If those are not primary concern, then you can work with Unity. Now Unity is Unity or Godot or Unreal, any game engine. Now these are probably easier to deal with, and they come up with this graphical interface where you can actually add features quite easily rather than trying to code them on your own using the library functions. But I understand that those are not your concerns as of now. You are quite comfortable with these libraries, right?
Yes, sir.
So in that case, so what roadmap you are expecting from me?
So basically, if somebody knows OpenGL, and I just wanted to know Vulkan, so how to like, what's the difference between these two APIs, like Vulkan and OpenGL? Like that's something which I'm little, because I don't know much about Vulkan. I'm just trying to explore Vulkan from where I should start doing this.
No, so these are basically developed by different groups, different people, different companies. So they are essentially graphical libraries, graphics libraries. Essentially, they allow you to, utilize, like say you have said you used Unity and Godot. Both are game engines. Now, some come with some more functions, some come with lesser functions, some is well maintained, one is not so well maintained. So, the difference is from that point of view. But fundamentally, they are same. They are game engines. Similarly, these two are the terms you are using, OpenGL and Vulkan. They are same graphical libraries. One is maintained by OpenGL forum, other one is a different group maintains that. So,
So
both
basically,
are
like I heard that Vulkan has higher performance compared to OpenGL, like on modern hardware. That is something which I heard. That's like, so is it like correct? Because in Unity and Godot, we can do almost everything, like whatever you have mentioned in let's say your previous course, which is the graphics course, is basically
right.
all the algorithms. Like fragment shaders can be developed like on these game engines. They allow you to add custom shaders like for the reflection and all that. They support physics based rendering as well. They have all the features available. But like one of the things which I found especially is the customization of shaders is a little bit limited. Yes, then you have to like explore their shader language, which is GSHL shader language. That's what you have to use to do the shaders. And specifically for Oculus, what the company provides is like Oculus provides three channels for developing applications. The first channel they provide is through Unreal. They have a plugin for Unreal, which like MRXR development kit, which directly is compatible with Unreal. Second is Unity, which is the most used one. So they provide a plugin that integrates with Unity engine, and it allows you to do all the VR debugging and everything on the device, and it is very, very convenient for the user to use. And there is a third one that they provide, which is direct C++ like NDK level access for the most advanced users. So this like provides direct access to Vulkan and OpenGL. Very few developers I've seen like on YouTube, for very few developers actually use this thing to create like because these engines they have problems when it comes to voxels basically. Like if you want to render voxels in VR, they don't have that much options. Like as far as I know, maybe I'm wrong. So that guy actually coded the entire game engine from scratch to support voxel rendering. And so like other types of very, very niche specific rendering, we can optimize using this C++ API without like using any of these game engines. And that is basically something which it is more of an exploratory thing than actually a game development, because I just wanted to explore whether this will provide any performance advantage compared to other game engines in terms of rendering. If I can use some tweaks and other stuff that is specific to my needs using that C++ API. So that is what I was trying to explore. And
No, what I can offer you here is, of course, a broad level picture of what goes on rather than specific issues, because that requires me to actually start developing that particular game that you are referring. But what I can tell here is that if you work with Vulkan directly
this,
rather than through any game engine, then definitely you will have performance boost, because you are avoiding one layer of abstraction. If you are working through game engine provided APIs, then your performance will be lower as compared to if you are working directly, because these APIs again accesses the underlying graphics libraries, maybe OpenGL, it may be Vulkan. Okay, so when you are working with Unity and below there is OpenGL layer, then Unity goes through OpenGL. I mean, it invokes OpenGL libraries only, but you are not doing it. You are invoking OpenGL APIs, Unity APIs, and Unity APIs are accessing OpenGL APIs. So that layer, if you are eliminating, then certainly your performance will be improved. But at what cost? That is the convenience. That is what I was telling. People are probably not exploring that route because it involves lots of coding,
yes,
debugging,
sir.
and much more headache as compared to dealing with, say, a middleware layer like Unity or Godot or Unreal. They make the life easier. That is the only advantage. Beyond that, if you are bypassing that game engine layer and focusing only on your application rather than generic support, then you are most welcome to do that, provided you are ready to spend more time dealing with the implementation level issues. That is the broader understanding. Now, exactly what problem you are facing, that, of course, unless I see those problems, it is difficult to pass on any comments. But
Awesome.
what I can say is that OpenGL, Vulkan, they are similar, not same,
Okay.
similar. That means they are at the same layer in the software stack of a computer system. Both of them allows a developer to work with graphics.
Okay.
Now, I do not have full, experience of Vulkan either. But what I can say is that Vulkan is more recent days than as compared to OpenGL. So it is supposed to be designed for latest hardware.
So like overall, like all the games are switching from OpenGL to Vulkan these days, and like even these Unity and all these things, they internally now are switching to Vulkan from OpenGL.
Hmm.
That's why I was trying to explore like what are the, because And as far as convenience is concerned, sir, I completely agree with you, because like if you want to code anything in this like Vulkan API directly, then you have to take that 3D model, which let's say I use Blender for creating 3D models, and you have to export that mesh vertex by vertex into the system. Then you have to custom code the load level. So let's say if your character is far away, then you have to show the smaller simpler mesh, and when it goes close, then you have to show the detailed mesh. You have to custom call the draw calls, and it's basically not just losing convenience, but it is like a hell scenario for the developer if he uses the custom code.
That is what I mean. You have to put in more effort, more brainstorm. You have to do for basically implementing the code. And these game engines give you a upper convenient layer where you don't need to bother about those lower level details, many lower level details. That is the advantage. Otherwise, if you work with the lower level details, I mean lower level libraries like Vulkan, then certainly you will get performance boost. That is for sure. And Vulkan is certainly, I mean, a good library. So you can go ahead with working with Vulkan. Only thing is that your I mean, effort will be more.
That is something I understand, but like I just wanted to have like your view on this thing, on like whether I should like spend like whether there is even like 1% chance that if I put all the effort, there will be some boost like that I'll get with
That depends on
Vulkan.
your complexity of the game. That is what I said. I don't know what game exactly you are planning. If it is very, very complex and very unique in nature as compared to the available games or kind of games that you get to
So
see.
basically, one of the major issues I was facing with Unity and Unreal, why I switched to a different game and like to custom, is basically on MetaQuest, the standalone headset. Let's say most of the VR games you have, like which offer very good quality, they actually have like a cable between the VR headset and the PC, and the PC does all the rendering, and they offer a lot of performance boost and all that. But let's say I run a VR app on the standalone VR headset. What I am facing here is basically the quality of textures and all this thing always crashes because the hardware on the VR is very limited. It is more like a mobile hardware, just scaled to support that VR headset. Like, but
So which lever is?
so basically, just give me 1 second. I'll show you exactly. Just a second. So presently, I'm using the Quest 3. I also had developed for Quest 2, and one of the things that concerns me is like there is a cord here that connects with the PC, and if I use it as a tethered system, tethered systems in Steam VR or something like that. In that case, I can render more triangles and vertices without any issues, and I can just use off-the-shelf algorithms to do that. But when I just try to run it on standalone, the number of vertices I am limited to, let's say, 1 million vertices max. It max out there. So I need to, and the battery drains very fast. So let's say if I create a VR experience, the battery drains, let's say, in 20 minutes, which is basically completely not doable. So I need to fix this first problem, because the VR experience I'm trying to create, like right now, is basically like Jurassic Park. If you know that movie Jurassic Park with the dinosaurs and all that, and I have created the dinosaurs in Blender as well, so everything works fine. But what's happening is the realism that I'm trying to achieve on a standalone device. I tried 3 game engines so far, and none of them is able to achieve that. So I've planned, okay, this is like a passion project for me. So I'm just trying to create a custom game engine specifically for rendering that kind of stuff. So that's my, so even if let's say I can push the battery times to, let's say, 30-40 minutes, then I think it will be quite good, because this device has, like, this is the Oculus 3, the 512 gigabyte one, and Oculus Quest 2 is also something which I was doing, but Oculus Quest 2 is completely hopeless. Quest 3 is little bit more efficient, but in the market, most of the individuals actually have Quest 2. So my system needs to work on Quest 2 as well. So that is where I was like struggling. I went through like the graphics course that you have. I went through several other courses as well. Then your VR course. Actually, one of the things I learned a lot from this VR course is basically the cyber sickness aspect, which is not explored anywhere in any of the course that I went through. Like any VR course that I went through, none of them put that much emphasis on system design and cyber sickness aspects. And just to let you know, in VR development these days, all app developers ignore this fact and their app fails. This is like 90% of failure is because of cyber sickness. If you just convert like traversing algorithm to, let's say, teleport algorithm, a lot of things get sorted out very easily. And that is something for which I actually want to thank you for that, because that cyber sickness aspect is covered in a very, 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 very precise detail. And nothing covers like this, like your course, sir. So for that, I'm thankful. I just wanted and the system design aspects as well. So creating a VR experience through the pipeline, it is covered in a very good detail. Now, the only thing I just want to have is basically the implementation, which is why I'm exploring the Vulkan part. And if I can get this thing sorted somehow, then this will things can go in a very, very efficient manner, and I can create an app that can rival. It will be the best VR app in our country. So I just want to this is more on a level to just prove the technical superiority that at a national level. That is basically what I am exploring right now. So it is a little bit ambitious goal, but if things succeed, let's say if everybody tries to be good, but with your course, I think it will be quite feasible. Now it looks quite feasible as well.
No, of course, you have a very nice goal, and I congratulate you for that. And all the best wishes from my side. And only thing is that what the problem you mentioned is a very typical problem. That is when you are when you are using a T3 device, essentially computation is taking place inside the workstation. I mean, a little bit high-end workstation. So there probably you are not perceiving the lags in computation, which affect the perception. But in these non-tethered devices, which do not connect to the computer, so there are limitations. But I mean, that limitations through optimized coding can be solved to some extent. But I think once since you have already done my graphics course, you have a fair idea that all these cannot be solved by software. You require high-end hardware. Now, unless that is available in the non-tethered devices, you probably will not be able to solve to the satisfaction of yourself. I mean, the kind extent to which you want the performance to be boosted, some can be achieved with probably better algorithms or better APIs. Say Vulkan can provide better API as compared to Unity or Godot. But my worry is that probably it will not be good enough for the perfect performance boost that you are expecting, because not everything is tied to software. Some hardware support is
I'm
also
just
there.
also putting some artistic tweaks there, basically so that just to minimize the number of vertices and triangles that we have to render. So
Right.
I have an algorithm in mind. Basically, what I'm trying to do is basically, let's say suppose I have a tree, okay, and the present load algorithms that are not customizable to a certain extent. I can just have 2-3 models. What I'm trying to do here right now is, let's say I have a tree, let's say, and the tree is at quite a distance. I have limited number of triangles, so and limited texture space as well. So I just want that tree basically to become, let's say, few triangles with normal map of a certain resolution. The texture and the model will have certain resolution, and it will appear just like perpendicular to the vision of the user. So it will appear as a tree from a distance, but it will give a sense of perception that the thing is vast, because right now most of VR experiences they are more like a tunnel vision stuff. So you will have a limited space to render, and the vastness of space cannot be explored like that. And for sky, I'm just using a simple skybox textures, basically 4 triangles with let's say a 512 by 512 pixel thing. So just to preserve some texture space, and optimizing like the interpolation algorithm, which I learned from the graphics course itself, to give, let's say, a little bit smooth experience and minimize anti-aliasing as well. And but there are some things that I cannot tweak with these engines, and that artistic feel that I wanted to have. Let's say I have 2 dinosaurs here in front, and there is like those will be rendered at high pixel count, and the other ones basically will be rendered at lower pixel count. But with present engines, they store everything on the device, and this is one of the main issues. Like the load, and this thing has limited customizations, which prevent me from even doing that. So basically, my goal is, let's say I'm standing at, let's say at position 00, and I can only see that position 05. What I will do is, let's say a person is moving in that direction, I'll load some things further out, dynamically in the background. So let's say that, till the person reaches that particular point, the load will happen, and I don't have to store everything on the RAM. So basically, I'll be recycling using some sort of object pooling mechanism. But the amount of customization is quite limited. I actually went through Godot because Godot is open source. Unity is completely closed source. Unreal is it is a priority, like a commercial game engine, but it offers source code customization. But it is so complex. The source code is so huge that going through the source code itself is like a huge thing. And Godot offers this. It is open source. It offers the source code optimization. That's why I'm exploring Godot right now. But once I understand Vulkan, I can optimize Godot's Vulkan API to my needs. So I'll have all the like exporters, like a model exporter, texture exporter, importers from Godot, but I'll customize that section of code where I can create that load level in C language. And Godot offers this thing in like you can create anything in C language that can directly interface with your native libraries. So Godot offers that. So it is called something like C extensions. It is called Godot extensions, basically. So you can extend Godot itself, and it is a feature provided by the developers. So I'm just trying to get like understand Vulkan and how I can use Vulkan to extend Godot to achieve, let's say I can achieve 20% extra performance, then I can just expand the space by, let's say, 20% more. That's what I'm trying to achieve right now. I understand that the stuff that I'm asking you is a little bit like it is at the borderline of the course that we are going through, but still like it is quite interesting. And like the reason I went for this course is because of the VR thing. So this is one of the very few VR courses offered so far. So that's it.
So your questions are quite intriguing and fantastic insight you are giving me. I mean, that is very good. And so, I mean, a couple of comments I want to offer from my side. One is that what you mentioned is you are optimizing. So what I was referring to is optimization is certainly possible. Say, for example, you said you will not utilize the full RAM. So, I mean, when we are talking of, say, untethered device, so essentially everything is inside the device. So we have to utilize whatever hardware is provided. So there, what resolution it supports, what what kind of processing it supports, these type of things always play a role in optimization along with algorithmic optimization. So that is, of course, there. So what I was just telling is that suppose you are having an optimization plan, but that may not work everywhere. I mean, this optimization plan may work in a certain setup, what optimization plan you are having, but it not necessarily works in every setup. That is anyway an engineering problem, and your problems are very common problem in this rendering. So sometimes people go for cloud-based rendering where although it is not tethered to a local computer, but it is tethered to some cloud server services where this graphical computation takes place and it only renders. So the frames are only sent. Now, that is a bit, but that depends on bandwidth support. So if the bandwidth is low, then certainly, I mean, you will lose the quality of experience. So there are different solutions people have explored, and I am very impressed with your basically the approach, the way you are approaching the problem and trying to solve it. It's quite impressive, and all the very best to your effort. And of course, here in this course, specifically Vulkan will not be taught, but what I tried to give is a very generic idea of what to do depending on what you want. Now, if you are dealing with very common type of problems, then for convenience, some middleware may be used. But if you are dealing with a very specific problem, probably bypassing middleware will be better. Middleware means these game engines will be better. So that is the only pathway I can offer. Other than that, Vulkan specific issues probably at this stage it's difficult to tell unless the issues are.
So thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for your advice. It is very well. So, and there is like apart from this, I have specific queries from the course itself. I'll just list them. Just give me 1 second. I'll just go through the.
Sure. Good. What you do by the.
So basically, I'm a freelance developer, and actually I have a couple of startups. I have a couple of startups in United Kingdom as well, and I'm an entrepreneur as well. So basically, I have a company called Ishwara Software Private Limited, which I found here. We offer services like in graphics, in AI. AI is basically my core domain where I work, especially in neural networks, and large language models is my specialty. But I do graphics for like as a hobby. I love visual art, so as well as like doing stuff that generates visual art on computers. And like this is one of my passions, like one of my hobbies or passion, whatever you want to say, like that's what it is. And I'm trying to create several of these apps. Like I failed several times, but like I'm still trying to get the best performance out of these systems, especially the VR. It's like even Facebook is having problems, the same kind of problems that I mentioned to you, that they have the same thing. So and I'm also trying to get the same thing. So but basically the course that I had, like the graphics course that I had with you, cleared a lot of these things, because earlier when I approached the game engine, when there was a settings, like these settings are there, and I'm a BSc in computer applications, so my domain is physics, mathematics, and computer applications. So I'm not a BTech student. So I completed my graduation in 2014, and after that, like I did some. I completed combined defense services from UPSC couple of times, but like I was not able to go through the SSB process. But I went to the five. I qualified it 5 times, and then I switched to this computer development field, where I'm like from last 7 years I'm doing this thing. So most of the stuff.
Your passion is really quite interesting.
So last semester I took 12 NPTEL courses basically, and I was a topper in 8 of them. And basically, in your course, I was like top 1%. I had a gold medal. So basically, I was the most dedicated, one of the most dedicated students in your course, last one. And then I was just waiting for this VR course. Like when I saw that okay, you are putting this new course, I just jumped on. Like I was probably the first one to register for this course, and then I got your book as well. And then like yes, now then what? So basically, the advantage now I have is basically because I'm not from a person from a creative like with degree in design and graphics. I'm just a computer, like a regular computer degree. So, but when I approach this game engines, one of the problems I had is basically when I saw those settings. Let's say where I saw the texture setting, texture maps, and how to tweak these texture maps and normal maps, bump maps, and all that. And I was unable to, like, there are so many parameters to tweak. It was very difficult. to even understand, let's say object queuing, backface queuing, and I was like, what happens if I just disable enable backface queuing? What is basically backface queuing? The theory was completely missing. Even though I had the Unity knowledge, but like I didn't have this. So, but after the course, now I can understand the theory behind it. So when the game says it's a normal map, I can understand it's a normal map. This is basically a fake geometry thing, and I get that. So basically the doubts I have is just few of them, and then probably like.
Please go ahead.
So just give me 1 second. I'll just go through it. And
Sure.
here, interactive life cycles here. So in week 6, basically, in week 6, there is an interactive development life cycle that you mentioned here.
Yes.
So
that is lecture number 32.
Basically, the lectures are actually named
Right.
interactive system development life cycle stages. Basically, that's a week 6, lecture 5.
Yes. Right. Lecture 5, week 6. Yes.
It is lecture. Yes. It is week 6, lecture 5. Yeah.
Right.
So the problem here is like the notes are organized in a different manner. So I have to just go through like the lecture numbers and note numbers don't correspond. Sometimes I have to map them based on your lecture videos. So this is one of the very minor things that. So
what is your query?
So basically in this, if you go to the diagram, design, prototyping, early evaluation, okay, code design, code implementation, code testing, empirical study. So what is this empirical study? So basically, like
you mean empirical study?
yes, empirical study. But pronunciation sometimes is not.
No, that's fine.
So
let
in
me just.
this process, you have this code design, code implementation, code testing, and then after code testing, there's an empirical study. So what exactly is this exact step, empirical
So
study?
essentially, empirical study means that you are actually testing your design with users. Now, two types of users are there. One is the client who asked you to develop it, but they are not necessarily the end users. And there are end users who are actually going to use it. Now, through empirical study, typically in any software development, unless there is an empirical study, you don't get to know what the end user wants. I mean, how the end user is going to use it, not what they want. That is the requirement stage. But empirical study essentially means uncontrolled, a controlled study with the end users to test your system.
Control study. So basically, we will be like getting something like a user experience out of the study.
I mean, it's not necessarily qualitative. It can be quantitative study also. Typically, quantitative study means you have a controlled experiments where you have a sample of your user population and you have a statistically designed experiment, and you conduct the experiment, collect user data. Based on the user data, you come to a conclusion whether the design, the system is going to be.
Okay, so basically it is more like you propose a hypothesis and then you get, let's say, if I change this color, it will be like more users will be able to see this thing. If I change the contrast, more users will be able to see this thing clearly. And then I test it with users to verify that hypothesis. And then I collect data. Is that like where this thing goes?
And at a bit broader scale, not at that micro level. So what I am referring to is that you have a set of hypotheses about your system, that this system is going to be usable, this system is going to be effective, this system is going to be efficient, this type of things with respect to the user's goals. And for that, you frame a set of research questions, carry out experiments with some pre-designed tasks you give to the users while they are performing while they are part of the experiment. You record some values, some numbers, and those numbers you statistically analyze. Based on that, you come to a conclusion whether your objectives are met. That is the broad purpose of empirical study. But there are two things. One is in the requirement phase, requirement analysis stage, which is an earlier stage. Before you start developing, you need to collect the end user requirement. There also, you may or may not include end users and get those users' needs, so to speak. But that is not this much structured. So there different method is followed. Whereas in empirical study, you have a proper structured way of conducting experiments and collect data.
Sure.
I think all the details are already there in the lecture. In subsequent lectures, you will find the entire process of empirical methods. So here in this lecture, only stages are mentioned, but these stages are elaborated in the subsequent lectures with examples.
Starting immersive experience. Okay, yes. So,
say for example, yes, please go ahead.
Oh, so that's fine. So there's one more question about the haptic exploration type. So basically, you have this topic is a little bit like haptic exploration is basically when there is like a cheesecake thing that you explained. Like when you touch, there's 6 types of haptic explorations, and
right.
There is a contour following. There is the lateral motion, the pressure hardness, and there is like.
Can you tell me the lecture number?
Lecture number 31, sir. 31. System for full immersion. There is like somatosensory perception, which is then you have haptic exploration types.
We just quickly look at it. So which part you are talking of?
So just when you like the haptic exploration types, there's 6 types of haptics that you mentioned. If you scroll down, there's like a cheese-like triangular object is held by the hand, and then we have different types of motions. Yes, explore.
Right. So essentially, it says that how we perceive sense, how we manipulate our fingers to perceive sense. So different ways of manipulation of fingers are there. So in the leftmost one, lateral motion texture. So we to perceive the texture, we move our fingers laterally. The top row, second figure, that is, we touch it hard so that we perceive the hardness, so pressure hardness with one finger. So this is basically that different way of perception using our fingers, how we move the fingers, how we manipulate the fingers to get this sensation through touch. Okay. So these are 6 popularly used manipulation patterns of our fingers and hand to perceive the sense.
Okay. Most of the haptic devices I came through like so far, like in PSVR2, like Oculus, they just have this hand, and let's say you fire a gun in a game.
This is actually how human hands are moved, okay. But it is not yet replicated exactly through artificial haptic devices. I mean, not all senses are, all types are implemented.
Yeah. So most of the stuff that you have is the haptics are associated with these headsets, and we have the hand controller. So let's say you fire, let's say a gun or something like that in a game, then you have this vibration on your hand. That is basically the
essentially for cheaper kind of devices, you have this force feedback kind of haptic sensation. Yeah. But there are other a little bit more sophisticated devices, but still all these 6 types are not supported as yet.
Oh, 6 types. I've never seen one of any one of them. Even the most expensive VR headset that I bought, the Pimax, even that doesn't support this kind of thing. So all of them. So most of the haptics are basically the same. Like even the Sony's PlayStation has the same kind of haptics, but you just feel the vibration. Let's say, but they have this pressure hardness. Like the Sony PlayStation VR2 has this pressure hardness. Let's say when you squeeze different guns, the pressure is different for every single gun. So they are selectively adding extra resistance, maybe somehow. I'll have to open their device to find out how they're selectively adding more resistance. Yes,
Yes.
but it will make the
So,
warranty void.
so there is
Not
no direct mapping of these 6 types into the devices that you get to see, but
okay.
these are basically meant to give you an idea of how we perceive sense, how through our hand and fingers. And if you suppose if you want to explore haptics more, there are, I mean, haptic interaction is a quite developed field. But the thing is that those are may not be integrated with immersive experience as of now. But it's okay. I mean, they will come.
Just there is one last doubt I have. And probably like there is no other student. That's why I'm putting this. So like
Yes, sir.
if
Please go ahead. I am enjoying this interaction. It's fantastic.
so basically and so basically in the just lecture 8 here and late.
Lecture number 8.
It's not lecture. It's a lecture 42 basically. Week 8. The
The
first
week
lecture from week 8. Yes, week 8 first lecture.
first,
It's lecture 42. Lecture 42.
that should be 39. Anyway, so first lecture from week 8, right?
Wait, no, this is between week 8.
It's fine.
System implementation. It is week. Oh, sorry, lecture 4. Sorry, week 8, lecture 4. It is system implementation. Sorry. I'm very sorry for this.
Okay, so
So
then it's 42, right? Yeah, let me open.
In this particular lecture, prototype categories. So basically, horizontal prototypes and vertical prototypes. These are like, what's the difference between horizontal prototype and a vertical prototype? Like this is the topic I understood a little bit, but I need a little bit more explanation in this particular thing. Horizontal versus vertical prototype.
Hmm.
Because
So suppose you have built your game,
yes,
right?
sir.
Now, suppose hypothetically, let me assume that your game is ready. You are building your game and you want to get it tested before it is fully ready. So you are supposed to make a prototype to test it. Now, when you are building a prototype, you can do it broadly in 2 ways. One is horizontal. That means only at one level of the game. Say, for example, at a given instant of time, how it appears. That you are prototyping so that people can comment or you can get feedback on its appearance, how it appears. I mean, whether the dinosaurs are appearing properly, whether the distance between them looks natural, whether the color appears naturally, whether the placement of other objects proper. One instant of time of your entire game experience. That is horizontal prototype. Horizontal, why horizontal? Because we are assuming a tree-like structure at different stages, and at one level of the tree, horizontal level of the tree, that means all screenshots at any given instance. So if you are just capturing the screenshots and trying to understand the issues with that screenshot, that is horizontal. But if you want to explore the quality of the interaction, say starting from the beginning to the end of a particular uh, game scenario. Suppose I am playing a game, I started the game and I want to reach the end state. Enter intermediate, all the screens and the interaction, all the selections, clicks, all this, whatever you are doing. If you are prototyping the entire path, that is vertical.
Okay, so basically, so like in horizontal, basically one of the things like is there is no real work done that is mentioned there. So basically, horizontal prototypes are basically like concept art or something like that.
Kind of. I mean, you are
Okay,
trying to get some feedback based on just one instant or some instance of your entire system.
okay. And in vertical, basically, like you create a screen graph with different screens, like from one screen to the other. Okay. So first,
I would say that you are actually creating a whole interaction experience,
okay, like a
starting from the
mock-up.
point to the end point. Prototyping, suppose your game will have multiple ways to play the game. Suppose one way you want to prototype. So from the very beginning, what the user does till the end, when the user reaches the end, whatever happens in between, you are prototyping, so that you can actually evaluate the whole path, whole game playing experience. And that is vertical.
Okay, so basically, whenever I develop a game, or most of my known ones, they develop a game. Let's say we don't design a 3D model from the start. So what we usually do is we create, let's say, a circle or maybe a sphere or a cylinder, and we just move that cylinder according to the game logic to just test the game mechanics. And when the game mechanics are confirmed, then we replace that primitive with actual game model. So that becomes a vertical prototype. Am I right, sir?
So that if you are only having a say one, one instant of the screen, all the screen changes that takes place, all the changes that takes place, then that is horizontal. That is not vertical.
Okay, so basically, let's say I have three screens, three experiences, and I'm just creating a prototype for that particular experience. Let's say let's say I have 5 levels in the game.
I am
I just
saying, I am
prototyping 1 level, 2 level, 3 level, individual.
Let me give you one example. Suppose you are trying to basically play a game. Starting, so at the beginning, I will select a dinosaur model. Then the dinosaur will appear. It will probably run, and then finally it will reach some goal. Whether I may be shooting it, something. Say for example.
Yes, sir.
So all these things, if I am prototyping, then it is vertical prototype. But if I am prototyping only one instant of this entire thing, where only 2 dinosaurs are visible, and other things I don't care, then that is horizontal prototype.
So, okay, so
It is
horizontal
not moving,
prototype
it is not doing anything else.
is logically like unit testing in coding. We have unit testing, so like something like that. Horizontal is like we test few features, one or very few features at once.
Roughly, yes. Of course, I still don't equate the two, but yes, in a sense, you can say that.
Yeah, vertical, we test the whole thing at once. Yeah, the whole thing.
Whole path at once. There may be
Okay.
multiple paths in a system, but one path you are testing fully, that is vertical.
Okay, it means like you create all the screens, combining these things, and you create
To
the
achieve a
whole
certain,
experience, even though it is like not completely done, but it is essentially the whole experience created, let's say, using primitives or mock graphics assets. So you don't
right,
create the gas assets, you just create the
is the vertical.
experience. It's
That is
vertical.
vertical.
Yeah. Okay. But if you use single screen, that's horizontal.
That's horizontal. Yes.
Yes. Thanks a lot, sir. Basically, I always called mock-ups. I never heard this word horizontal or vertical prototype. So I did mock-ups, and this is the first time I'm feeling like, okay, yes, this is what's horizontal prototype, what is vertical prototype. It's a very new thing to. So I don't have any doubts now. So like from my side, I'm like done. Totally.
So I means anytime if you have, I liked your my interaction with you very much. So you can always reach out to me through email, and you can drop mail, and separately we can meet if you have further doubts, if you want to discuss something.
Thanks a lot. That's a huge help. I like I like I cannot like appreciate enough for the support, especially like even the stuff I went through this course. It's like it teaches so much to individuals, like in terms of um, VR especially, because most of the courses I went through Coursera, I went through Udemy, I went through all other sources like YouTube as well, and all the courses will teach you how to create a game, but it
Right.
doesn't cover one of the things, which is cyber sickness. It doesn't cover system design. It doesn't cover like, because you just create that game that they taught you, but when you try to implement those principles on a different game, then you will be stuck. Especially the cyber sickness. Cyber sickness is something which was not covered at all. I never saw a course which this much detail of cyber sickness, and cyber sickness in VR is one of the primary things that is like mostly like ignored, and causes a lot of even my, like say I have a VR experience, and I don't have a knowledge like that cyber sickness issues mostly. because like I was a pilot earlier, like I was in NCC, and I did a lot of flying in aircraft and all that. So I have less this issue of cybersecurity. But my sister, when she goes through a VR experience, the walking in that tunnel actually causes this fake sense of motion, which causes nausea. And a lot of individuals have this problem, especially like in a dark, dull environment, it causes nausea. And this creates like a lot of issues that like claustrophobia is one of the things that are always triggered. I've seen a lot of individuals facing claustrophobia in present VR systems. They feel that kind of tunnel effect, and which is and I was trying my best to learn tricks to get through these things, and like the schools covered all the stuff, like especially the teleportation mechanisms, which can fix it. You minimize the motion, you minimize the speed of the motion, you minimize the let's say you can make an open environment which gives a sense of openness. So a lot of these things was quite good, and make the experience shorter so that the user will not have persistent.
Latter part, there will be a few more tricks we'll be discussing regarding how to optimize the experience, taking care of cyber sickness. So that I think that will also be helpful uh, towards the latter next couple of weeks.
Yes, so it's a joy. It's basically having this course is basic. I cannot have I cannot explain this enough, but like it was an amazing experience, like going through this entire course with like an everything is covered, like especially XR, VR, everything. I went through official VR course from Unity, and I went through official AR course. Basically, I went through their entire course, and I understood how to implement it and in their game engine. But all these elements of cyber sickness was like there was a brief thing like, okay, don't use a continuous motion, just use snap motion. That was all that was covered in their cyber sickness section. So you just, let's say, instead of having to move it continuously, when you move the control like this, you should not move like this. But when you move the control, you just snap to 45 degrees suddenly. That's it. And move in increments. 45 degree is the common, let's say, or half of that. But that is all. And I knew that, okay, this covers that. But like there are other elements. So that was not covered and clearly. I went through the anchor system so that when you just point out at some places and then you click it, you get teleported to that particular anchor point. But I was like, why teleportation doesn't invoke nausea and why regular like motion, continuous motion invokes it? That was one of the things that was not covered mostly. So it gave a lot of things. Lot of things are clear now. And hope there are like hope other students are like so did you get any doubts in today's session or not? Because I didn't give the doubt because I was like I just finished my work. I just said opened the camera and then just like I just put one doubt in that Excel sheet basically. So
Others are yet to. I mean, I don't know. So far, I have not seen any doubt from anybody else.
so
So
I in the last lecture I missed the lecture because like this was the most unfortunate thing. In your last doubt session, I didn't get I saw the email 1 hour after the lecture was over. So because there are so many emails that was there, and I just didn't observe that. So this time I had this filter algorithm for specifically for your lecture just to attend that. So I don't want to miss the next one. So I had a filter set there to make sure like because after completing the graphics course so basically I didn't know about NPTEL until last semester. Last semester I know about NPTEL, and in the first semester when I knew it, I applied for 12 courses. And last semester I didn't know there was something called doubt session because this was completely new. And then this semester, when I went to the NPTEL event in IIT Kanpur, they told me about there is a doubt session where you can interact with the okay, and then there is a doubt session as well. So I just and then this semester I'm just trying to interact with as many like experts and because it was a dream for me to join IIT basically to get to interact with you people and learn through stuff. I have applied for IIT Madras BS program this semester. I knew about that. So tomorrow my results are there. Probably I will go through the qualifier this time. And hope like I even had a like a last discussion I had the Professor Kapoor for parallel computing, parallel computer architecture from IIT Guwahati, I think. This was in my last, I'm going through that course as well. So parallel computer architecture from Professor Himangi Kapoor. It was a quite nice session as well. So I'm going through these things so that I can just understand the graphics hardware more optimally, and this is do the coding in a bit more efficient manner. So I'm just trying to just like do all the tweaks I could, probably like to squeeze every ounce of performance out of these this graphics hardwares, these embedded
Yes,
ones.
that is very nice. That is very nice. So, have you registered for exam also, or you are just
Yes, sir,
attending the?
I've registered for examination as well. So
Okay, okay.
last time,
Last time
I
you performed so well.
yes, oh, well. So basically, last time I was like NPTEL mega star basically last semester. So I
But how you
like
managed 12 courses? I mean, you said
so
you registered for 12 courses.
12 courses, sir, and I topped
One.
in 8 of them.
So how you manage so many courses? I mean, that is
So
a
basically,
fabulous.
like you don't sleep. That's what, because I'm a working professional. I have to work for 6 hours at least a day. Then I have to, so basically there is 14 hours that I spend on NPTEL, and this semester I have registered for 10 courses, and extra 2 courses. Why I didn't go for more than 10 is because I had to go for the BS courses as well. So this semester, so that's why there are 4 courses in IIT Madras BS program and 10 on NPTEL. So it is 14 hours every day I have to spend on this thing, and I get, let's say, 4.5 hours of sleep sometimes, but it is such an interesting stuff that like I cannot sleep at night.
That's
In the
fantastic.
morning, I have to just, when the new lecture comes in, like ninth week is there. So basically, I'm just this time also it is quite good. In your course, like all the assignments so far, like I had a consistent score of 100% so far. If you in my so in VR basically, so there was 1 week in week 6 I missed the assignment. And I didn't miss the assignment. I did the assignment actually, but I forgot to click the submit button because I was a little bit drowsy after losing my sleep. Apart from that, like from week 1 to week 7, I got 90% in first week, and 90% in 7th week, and rest I got like 100%, 100% in most of the assignments. So
That's
this time
fantastic.
also I'm trying to just cross the 90 mark, which hopefully I will do. In week 6, I forgot the submit button, so that was a kind of silly mistake.
Yeah,
That's why I got
unfortunately,
0 marks.
unfortunately, we cannot reopen. Otherwise, I would have loved to reopen it for you.
This is the submit thing. So no, it because like I did like 5 assignments at night. In the morning, I was like with red eyes and all that. I was like, okay, how to submit? I did everything, and I submitted this thing. And at night, I said I got 0 marks. I forgot to submit this thing. 12. So next time, I'm more cautious about clicking the submit button, because you do all the week's work and you lost just because you forgot to click the submit button. So
Right,
that's a
right.
funny thing. So
Anyway,
it's
I think we are
sure.
we have overshot the time probably.
Yes, sir.
We are supposed to close by now.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, so it was fantastic getting to know you, and
Yes, sir.
please feel free to reach out to me even outside this live session also. Drop me a mail.
Yes, sir.
We can set up separate interactive sessions, video
Thank you, sir.
conference through.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for your support, sir.
And all
Thanks
the
a lot.
very best for your BS and other activities.
Yes, sir. Thanks a lot, sir.
See you.
Bye.
Okay, I think we finished the time. So maybe we can close it now. So thank you very much. Thank you very much to all for interaction. And this is the second live session. So we will have one more live session. We will get a chance to interact again.